This may have happened to you many times. You are walking down the street, or you are in the shower, or you are simply lying in bed trying to fall asleep. And suddenly your mind starts creating a scene. You begin to imagine a conversation. Someone says something to you. You respond, and the argument begins. In your head, everything feels very real. You imagine exactly what that person would say and what you would answer. You can even feel the emotions as if it were actually happening. Maybe you are explaining something you were never able to say, or you are winning an argument that you lost a long time ago. Or perhaps you are thinking about what you would say if one day you see that person again. Your mind begins to build the entire scene, the words and the reactions, the perfect responses that didn't come to you at the time. And for a few minutes, everything feels real. But suddenly you return to reality. You realize something curious. That conversation never actually happened. No one said those words, and no one reacted that way. Everything only happened inside your head, and yet your brain reacted as if it had really occurred. And the most interesting part is that this happens to many people. Our minds have a very powerful ability to imagine situations, conversations, and possible conflicts. It is as if your brain has a small stage inside it, where the same stories are played over and over again. But when these imaginary conversations begin to appear very often, when you spend a lot of time living inside those scenarios, you may be experiencing something that psychology calls excessive daydreaming, and understanding why it happens can help you understand much better how your mind works. To understand why we do this, we first need to understand something important about the brain. Your mind is not only designed to react to what is happening right now, it is also designed to imagine what could happen. Your brain works, in part, like a simulator. Before an important conversation takes place, your mind begins to prepare. It imagines what the other person might say. You think of different responses and rehearse how you would react. It is as if your brain is practicing a scene. There is a reason for this. For thousands of years, this ability helped people anticipate problems and prepare for them. Thinking about different scenarios could help people make better decisions. For example, imagining a difficult conversation could help you know what to say when the moment arrived. But the problem appears when this mechanism begins to work too much. Sometimes the mind does not just rehearse a situation, it begins to repeat it many times. It returns to the same conversation over and over again. It changes small details and tries different responses. And without realizing it, you begin to spend a lot of time inside those imagined scenarios. In some cases, these scenes even feel more intense than real life. Everything is under control, and everything happens exactly as you imagine it. However, while your mind is busy creating these stories, reality continues happening outside. People keep walking, talking, and living their own lives, and you are there, inside your head. That is why many people feel like their mind never stops. It is always imagining something and replaying conversations. Because for the brain, imagining situations is a way of trying to understand the world and protect itself from what might happen. Imagining things is not something bad. In fact, it is a very important ability of the human mind. Thanks to imagination, we can create ideas, plan for the future, and even solve problems. But there are moments when that ability begins to take up too much space in our lives. Some people start to notice that they spend long periods of time inside their own minds. While you are walking, studying, or even talking with other people, part of your attention drifts away into stories that exist only in your head. They are not just quick thoughts. They are complete scenes. Your mind creates places, conversations, and situations that seem to have a life of their own. Sometimes these stories continue for days. Your imagination becomes more attractive than what is happening around you. Inside your mind, everything can be more interesting. Conversations can go perfectly. Situations can have the ending you wish for, and emotions can feel more intense. But at the same time, something curious happens. While your mind is busy inside those imaginary worlds, you may start to feel increasingly disconnected from what is happening around you. Real conversations become harder to follow, and little by little, a strange feeling appears, being physically in one place but mentally somewhere else. It is at this point that you begin to wonder why your mind creates these imaginary refuges and why it becomes so easy to get lost inside them. When you spend a lot of time imagining situations in your head, there is often something deeper behind it. The mind does not create these stories by accident. Usually, you are trying to process something that you still do not fully understand. Sometimes it is about emotions that have not found a clear outlet. It may be a conversation that never happened, a response you were unable to give at the time, or a situation that kept you thinking for a long time. Your brain tries to organize all of that. It is as if you are trying to find an explanation that helps you feel better. That is why these imaginary scenes often appear when we are alone, when we are calm, or when something is worrying us. The mind begins to review what happened. It searches for different ways to understand it. It imagines different endings. In a way, it is the brain's attempt to resolve something that still feels unfinished. But the problem appears when those stories become the only place where you try to find answers. Because inside imagination, everything can change easily. People say what we hope to hear. Situations end the way we would like them to. However, real life does not work like that. People do not always react the way we imagine, and many times we do not have control over what happens. That is why understanding why your mind creates these scenes can be the first step toward realizing something important. Many of those stories are not really about other people, but about what you are feeling inside. Imagining things is a normal part of the human mind. We all do it at some point. But when we spend too much time inside those stories, we sometimes forget something important. Real life only happens in the present. The mind can travel to the past or invent possible futures, but the only place where we can truly act is here and now. Many times people get trapped in imaginary scenarios because they are searching for a sense of control. In those worlds created by the mind, everything seems to make sense. Conversations follow the path we want. However, reality is different. Real life is more imperfect and sometimes more uncomfortable. But precisely because of that, it is also the place where new things can happen. Stepping out of those mental scenarios does not mean stopping imagining. Imagination can be something very valuable. It can help us create ideas, reflect, and better understand our emotions. The difference lies in learning to notice when our mind begins to pull us too far away from the present. When that happens, it can be helpful to pause for a moment. Breathe. Look at what is happening around you. Remember that reality, even if it is not perfect, is still the only place where we can make decisions and change things. In the end, understanding how our mind works does not mean fighting against it. It means learning to observe it. Because when you begin to notice when you are living inside imaginary stories, you also begin to recover something very important: your ability to return to the present moment. If at any moment during this video you felt identified with what was said, I want you to know something important. You are not alone. Many people go through the same thing, even though almost no one says it out loud. Our minds sometimes create stories, replay conversations, or imagine situations that never actually happened. And that doesn't mean there is something wrong with you. It simply means your mind is trying to understand what you feel. If this video helped you understand a little better what happens inside your mind, you can give this video a like. That way I'll know that there are more people going through the same thing and that we are not alone in this. And if you want to keep understanding why your mind does what it does, how your thoughts work, and why sometimes we feel things we can't explain, I invite you to subscribe to The Gray Side. Here we continue exploring together the deepest corners of the human mind.
See you in the next video.